It feels like
everything.
you're never gonna get an experience like this again in your life. Oh, bless, but like I don't know what people's issues are.
It is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
Yeah, they do.
I'm treating it as such.
You know for who this also might be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity? The team's playing right now. We're actually in the draft, guys. We are super duper fast for this one, at least. We are here with Team Spirit taking on Team Archon and
compLexity.
5 seconds.
compLexity. Oh, I read it on the screen.
Oh.
What? my bad, guys. That was
Rest
a bit
in
of a
peace, Team
mess up there.
Archon.
Turn to
But we are here for compLexity and Team Spirit, and one of them is going to be joining Archon. And going
At the
home.
bar.
At the bar. At the
Radiant
bar.
team
That's what that vice was, of course.
Are
compLexity on the
you-
dire side, Spirit on the Radiant side.
Are you prepared to say which team will be joining him at the bar, or are you just saying someone will be?
Well, we said this one was the most even one, right?
Yeah.
I think VP and Vici is quite even as well.
This one is pretty even too. Don't you think so?
Vici VP is just like an unknown game to me. It's very hard to
Well, their
predict.
trajectories are total opposites, but I
Yeah.
think both teams at their best are
Whereas,
very evenly.
whereas these two teams, you've seen them play at like their good level of Dota, and you know like they're pretty evenly matched. With Vici versus VP, they're both playing like just they're bad Dota. Like
I think that VP's actually been pretty good.
Oh yeah, VP's
had
form is way better than Vici right
I
now.
think
But
it was
if
more
Vici
strategically they
plays
look
their
bad.
A game,
I mean,
think
I
they're very
agree.
close.
I agree with that potential-wise, but what you've seen of them in the tournament so far, I would definitely say that VP they almost beat EG. Like two of those games are pretty decent.
And they had the toughest group. That's pretty clear at this
Yeah.
point.
Let's,
Liquid beating Alliance.
Let's
so.
save that analysis for the game after this, because we will still have a long night to go, as this is one of our remaining 3 best of ones here. And an IO, first pick by Team Spirit. And now we know that they like to run the IO CK.
So if you're EG here, you pick Tidehunter Enigma immediately.
Yes.
That's what EG likes
and
to
what
do.
does compLexity do?
Well, it's kind of a deny pick. compLexity, we're running a lot of IO in the group stage.
10 seconds
It's
remaining.
not really like a go-to hero for Spirit, I wouldn't say. And certainly not this
5
early in the
seconds
draft. So
remaining.
this
You know-
feels to me like godBlack wants to make compLexity do something different, but he didn't want to have to blow a ban on IO. More than, oh, they really want to
No, they did pick it in the group stage. I think it was one of the games they did.
Yeah, but it's not like
Chen.
it's not like a go-to hero for them, I would say.
Radiant
So
team
compLexity kind of quote unquote deny pick the Tiny, but kind of as you guys mentioned, Spirit almost often go for the CK
Yeah.
instead of Tiny. So I don't think this bothers them so much necessarily. I kind of prefer the idea of getting something like a Tidehunter, but
Why do you think they go for the Lich?
Chain Frost pretty good versus CK.
yeah.
Very
I mean,
interesting.
Frost Armor also good against CK. You're looking at a lot of physical
I
damage.
mean, I think the other reason is because of the possibility of dual laning with the
10
Lich against the
seconds
Wisp
remaining.
lane. The
So to
Iron
win
lane.
the lanes, basically.
Yeah.
All right.
the
Spirit,
tide
the one who
goes
takes
to-
time.
Radiant team
Yeah.
back.
So, previous game we talked about knowing your opponent team and kind of baiting them into picking something you planned your strategy against, right? So if you're Team compLexity this game, you know that you're going to leave IO in the pool and you know that Spirit is going to
10
pick it up.
seconds remaining.
So can we assume that they have something special prepared for
5
Team Spirit
seconds
here?
remaining.
They probably anticipated picking the Tiny Lich duo, that they didn't take too much of their time to pick those two, so I don't think they would have expected a tied second pick, though. That probably kind of at least made them kind of second guess the rest of their draft a little bit and think, okay, what do we need to adjust now that they've gone into a Tidehunter instead of what we probably expected would be a CK?
I think MVP showed how you're supposed to ideally play against Tide.
Turn to
Pick things
bat.
that fight around it and just split the map repeatedly and abuse the fact that the hero's really immobile and the cooldowns are long. I think Tiny is a really good hero in general for that, just because you're never going to rely
10
on heavy
seconds
cooldowns for
remaining.
Tiny. It's just an item timing with the Blink Dagger.
Yeah, we
5
have Team
seconds
Spirit that does have to work around that Ravage cooldown so far. If you know that Lich is very good against CK, is there any other hero you would go for as a combination with the IO?
I mean, there's the Sven always as well. Sven,
But Lich
CK.
is also very good against Sven.
Yeah, but you're going to
Yeah.
go Blink, BKB, all the items that allow you to gap close really quickly. And Sven, we didn't see it in like Group D at all, or like rarely. I think
Complexities turn
VP
to
were the
bat.
only team that really abused it, but
There was one game maybe EG played Sven, I want to say, in the groups.
yeah.
Maybe actually the game
Since
they lost
then,
to.
teams have not super been favoring it. I guess we haven't seen a lot of the lower bracket games either, but
10
I think it would be
seconds
okay
remaining.
for Spirit's lineup. I kind of prefer it over the CK, honestly.
5 seconds remaining.
Well, there's no reason also they can just opt to not get like one of those obvious partners and just run like a standard OD or something with the IO. Because
Complexities.
I feel like
turn
OD
to
does
pick.
pretty well against the Tiny, just able to kind of sit back, kite him around a bit more, play around the Astral.
Yeah, they did use the ban on the CK. I mean, there's definitely still other partners. You guys brought up Sven. Gyrocopter's been good historically. I think it's the other big one that comes to mind for me. I do like the Tidehunter versus Tiny just because Anchor Smash works so well against his really high base damage throughout the game.
10
So I
seconds
think Tide's a
remaining.
good pick in general. We'll have to see where they go from
5
here.
seconds
So
remaining.
Invoker is still, to me, one of the big heroes still in the pool. Iceberg plays an amazing Invoker. And on the side of complexity, similar, you can see great Invoker play coming out from there as well. But they go for a lone Druid for now.
yeah, Spirit really need damage right now. They have very little.
This is typically Chessie's hero. I don't.
Limp Tiny.
Sunray is pretty good versus Lone Druid and Tiny.
You betcha. But they won't.
This feels like maybe it is the
Complexities
Invoker. Now you've got
turn
the
to
Bane to
pick.
set up.
They can't fit in the Phoenix anymore. Probably
is-
something Spirit may have just not practiced as well.
Yeah,
This is so much.
it's a Go Black hero.
This is classic God Black, yeah.
It's weird. If I think a lot of teams would have just immediately taken the Phoenix as a 4, unless you haven't practiced at all. It's so good against Lone Druid.
And it's good with the Tide because you've got that big team fight kind of synergy between
But then
the
again,
Supernova
IO
Rabbit.
support plus Phoenix support seems a bit very weird.
5
Like you can't really
seconds
gank
remaining.
very well early.
Yep.
But it's good
But
for
they
the
have a lip, so you know they're likely to be
yeah, it's
kind of
good.
passive
It's good
as well.
for obviously it's really good versus the
Reserve
enemy's
time.
composition.
I mean, even Bane IO is not amazing gank. You've got Nightmare something. It's definitely better than Phoenix, but it's not a huge upgrade.
Bane's just better though at zoning out pure offlaners by itself. Because when you pick IO, you know you're going to be in a 2v1 lane, and if you anticipate a dual offlane from complexity or even just like the solo Lone Druid, you need something plus a carry that does really well against that.
I don't see Bane able to deal with the Lone if Lone Druid's in that lane.
I mean, the other thing is like against Lich, you want to move and gank because Lich doesn't want to move. Like he's gonna sit in your safe lane and just sacrifice creeps. Then you want another support that can roam. Like Bane could potentially roam to other lanes and set up kills elsewhere.
Did you know that this will be the first time that complexity is going to be up against an IO in this patch? Like, at all? They have not faced that
So
hero
every time they
before-
picked
for a while.
IO, when they have IO, they pick
Either
that.
they pick it or they're not against it, slash ban it, whichever.
It's weird. I figure especially from the NA region,
Yeah.
like the West really likes IO, whereas it feels like the Chinese teams still aren't the biggest fan of the hero.
Chinese and C teams,
Yeah.
not the biggest fan of the hero.
I think MVP is the only C slash.
They're not
Chinese team.
even like C, you know, if you think about it.
Hey. They play in the C qualifiers.
Are you trying to strip William here of his SCA
Well,
credentials?
geographically,
Geographically,
it's
no.
not. It's
Yeah.
not Southeast Asia.
Ah,
We're
okay.
talking.
So you're
That's
saying
what I
he's
meant.
not worthy to be a part of C?
They're above C,
Yeah,
right?
they are both C.
Winter's beefing.
They should not want to be a part of FCA.
Winter's stirring the
They're
pot,
bringing
man.
up the collective average by quite a bit, guys. Let's relax here.
Listen, well, I appreciate the charity that the Koreans have shown towards the SCA region, and I
Yeah.
hope it continues.
So they do
Some
go
good
for the
times.
Enigma, the team fight against the IO.
10
Is it
seconds
picking
remaining.
Enigma into a Bane? I mean, it's still kind of tricky, or is that
No,
okay?
it's not even that. It's that
5 seconds
Enigma's so good
remaining.
against the IO. It's just like a direct counter, and you can get used to the fact that
Reserve time.
coL can play like the greed game. Like they can play pretty static and just allow the
Complexity.
Enigma to farm.
It is like pretty greedy. You have a Lich and Enigma support. Like one guy is Lich is gonna sit in the off lane, possibly or the mid lane, and just gonna keep sacrificing and securing farm. And Enigma is gonna see you later in 6 minutes. I'm gonna be level 6, and I'm
Or they're going to run the double deny strat
10
lane
seconds.
and
damn.
just dominate someone super hard.
Man, you sounded way too excited about that winner. Like it was not that.
yeah, that was
It's
like,
not that great, man.
that was what we did in Dota 1.
His team used to do that.
That's
yeah,
what we did in
why we
Dota
were
1, like
excited.
against Mushi, because he was so good at 1v1, and we were like, screw this, we're gonna just put Lich and Enigma against him. Like we just deny all his scripts.
To imagine how
We actually
tilted
did
he
that.
must have gotten so mad.
We
How many
actually did-
keyboards were broken from that?
We did that in the event, but we still lost that game.
Serves you right.
But Musha's probably pissed off
Serves you
afterwards.
right.
We lost the other lanes. We won. The only lane we won was that lane.
So complexity will ban the Invoker. Good call there. Gods, I think you point out. Definitely a go-to hero for Iceberg, and they've already got the Bane to set up. So I like that. I think Spirit definitely needs more damage, so they'll be looking for a second core here.
There's our LD counter.
But
They're banning out Springbok King
Ursa seems
Slaughter.
weird here though. Like all the heroes complexity have are really good versus Ursa.
They have a lot of ways to kite him. The Frost Armor, the Craggy, just Tiny's combo. You can toss him away. Entangle.
Malefice is
Malefice
freaking
Black Hole
annoying.
as well.
I think the first Roshan will determine a lot for Team Spirit. If they can get Aegis on Ursa, and then play behind the Tidehunter Ravage, and you don't even really have to play around the Tidehunter
And
Ravage.
are they
because
gonna
with
do
Ursa.
something weird on
who else?
Radiant? Are they gonna do Rosh on Radiant?
Dude, I was
5 seconds
saying that on day
remaining.
one. Goblak is the only person I know that would.
He's already done one level 1 Roshan. He did that in
But-
game 2 against
But that's when you think
Vici.
he's never gonna do
When
it
is the
again.
last time
I
that
would-
teams pulled off a level 1 Roshan, a big event like this?
They just
last
did it.
week.
Like, yeah.
5 seconds.
Team Spirit just did it.
In the group.
I guess I missed that game.
What do you-
I was
Oh my
casting
God.
something else.
Are you even watching
Typical
Dota here?
BTS.
Jesus.
You could probably
Unprepared.
not do it in a LAN environment, but because there's no more audience to spoil it, you know, who knows?
All right, before that, when was the last time a team did it?
A long time ago.
Yeah, that's right. It's
Cloud,
been a while,
Cloud9
huh?
to TI.
It was literally a week ago, LD.
I wasn't casting that game. I was doing another one.
compLexity did during the qualifiers, I
So
want
So
to
you're
say.
saying you didn't watch the other games to catch up on how the teams are looking?
I'm saying I didn't catch up on that
Yeah,
particular
you were
game.
busy playing Werewolf.
Yeah, man, this is OLD.
5 seconds.
Better than reading Twitter.
Dude, what do you mean? You're not allowed to. I
Reserve
don't.
time.
I haven't. You guys have been using Twitter?
No? Okay, guys, the draft is done. We have a Gyrocopter as the last pick for Team Spirit. I want to hear from you. Blitz, you said that the Ursa, or rather, sorry, the level 1 Roshan is the most important thing that's going to be happening in this game.
No,
Or
there's
not the
no
level-
way. Like would be insane if he did that. There's like no
I mean,
way.
Roshan in general. It's something to get late, okay? Roshan in general, the first Roshan is going to be very important.
Yes.
Okay, LD, what do the viewers need to look out for, and what will this determine this game?
Well, I think from the complexity point of view, they really want to play the greed game in general. They've been picking like multiple pretty heavy dual cores against EG. It worked out one game, other game not so much. So I would keep an eye on that. If it's a slower paced game, I think complexity will be very comfortable.
Okay, Winter.
I agree. I think
seconds
complexity have a very solid idea around their draft. They are
5 seconds.
most likely going to be able to get away with their greed. Going to be able to get away with their greed.
The draft. Team Spirit, they take the IO complexity, they obviously take the Tiny away from them, and then you end up with this kind of dual versus dual mid where they picked up the Iceberg Ursa, but at the same time Limp's got the back of a Hanskin on the Lich. Who comes out on top here in this duel lane?
I sort of think that the Lich Tiny does, just because you can play it passively. The biggest thing is that the Lich can't get caught out. As long as Hanskin plays the distance game, he should be okay. Because Limp can always just stun and run away and then they can Frost Nova. But you just allow the Lich to kind of play this passive game where he continuously denies and harasses, and he'll win in the long run. It's just this next 2 levels that's going to be a little bit scary for them.
Yeah, I mean, we saw already they tried to go for a bit of a play there, complexity. If they're able to get the toss back onto Iceberg and then get that Frostbar slow out from Hansken, they can certainly do a bit of damage under the tower, but unless they actually catch the IO, I guess Always Wanna Fly is going to be there with the regen for the Ursa, so Iceberg should be able to tank it as he walks it off.
Right now in this bottom lane, Swindles is actually doing a lot better than I thought he would. He's already picked up his level 2. He's got the next creep wave coming in as well. And that's kind of what we expected, I guess, just because he is against a dual lane and Panda's got decent stats. But the Enigma's getting absolute free farm Owen, and that's always going to be your equalizer.
Yeah, and I guess we're taking into account the fact that there is an Enigma in this game. Do you think Team Spirit, in terms of the gyro build, are we going to see as soon as he hits 6, he's going to be going around the map, starting to put the pressure on? Or is this going to be a gyro kind of building for more the late game and relying on the Ursa and the IO to do more across the map as we see mid lane, Iceberg just going and diving the tower, taking down the Tiny there. Limp going to be the one to give away first blood.
Let's get might go down too.
And this is incredibly painful for compLexity if they can get this. GoBlack with the haste rune just waltzing around the tree line. There'll be a TP in from the Tiny. GoBlack, he's sticking around, he's trying to go for this, but the avalanche comes out. Limp with the toss as well. They'll try and turn. GoBlack still trying to outfight, gets the brain sap off, and he might just get it one more right.
Oh no, he's got this!
He can't get it out! Oh! He will lose his life there. An incredibly close call there for Hansken, and Limp just back on the map in time.
He did that so well. He kept playing the tree line and just inching around it so that the Bane could never get around. That's got to be a highlight-worthy play. I think Limp even bottled him once, just to be able to get the save off at the last second, which is going to hamper him in the lane a little bit, but I'd imagine then Hansken TPs almost immediately just to refill the bottle. But it's like I said, the first few levels are going to be a little bit worrisome for this lane, and so Limp has to kind of respect it. Even with the stun toss, you're just going to get ran at.
Looking at the 2 offlaners at the moment, getting a pretty equal amount of CS. Afterlife, the build on Tides. Do we ever see a Tide go for the Blink before the mech now, or is mech the way you've got to play in games like this?
I almost always think you have to go for the mech. Unless you have a Chen on your team, then your build can be a little bit more flexible, but aside from that, he's dead.
The regen is not there. Always Wanna Fly is not going to be able to save him through that one. And compLexity in the mid lane, they're starting to turn up. Limp. The CS is an issue though. He is far behind, but if they're able to still get these kills here as a duel, they're not really going to care too much, compLexity.
I think it's honestly fine. Tiny needs a lot less farm than an Ursa is in a game like this, and Team Spirit, they have to get off to a rocking start because they want to get control of the Roshan pit as soon as they possibly can in this game. It's going to be sort of their avenue for the high ground and make sure that coL kind of sticks together and doesn't split up a lot of farm. Like if compLexity just hold even here and get some farm on their offlaner, I think they're okay, just because of how much the Enigma's picking up right now in the jungle. He's already almost level 6. He's most likely going to go for a mech on his own,
yes,
which will allow them to go for the team fights early, which I think they have to do. I think you do want to fight into Spirit, although it's a little bit of a tall task. It is a gyro plus Tide.
I mean, with these lineups where you have got the Enigma and the Lich, what's the Lich going to build? If the Enigma's getting the mech, are we just going to see the Lich try and get an early 4-star to help the cause kite around the Ursa?
Wait, you think Literal?
No, I'm saying what will Lich buy because Enigma's going to buy them?
Probably Force.
Yep.
I don't know what Aether Lens Lich is like. I can't imagine it's very good though. I'd almost certainly say he goes for a Force or a Glimmer. You want something that can survive against the Ursa more than anything. Like, Ghost Scepter is usually the item that you get, but then Gyrocopter is extremely good against you.
Talking about the Gyrocopter, how's round 6 doing in terms of farm? Okay, well, having a bit of a fighter at the moment, going in onto Swindles, but Swindles, he's going to be able to tank that up. And still Swindles. Now 9 for 3. They've managed to stop get a bit of farm mid lane. Again, getting caught out there. I mean, Iceberg, we've seen him go down, a couple of times now in that mid lane. It seems compLexity now, every time that they're just on top of them in terms of playing their playstyle in the mid lane. They're outplaying the side of Team Spirit every time.
Yeah, I think Limp is just tossing the Ursa repeatedly back, and the Lich just kind of nukes him, and the heals aren't enough for that kind of burst. The heal's really good for just those mini engagements, where you get hit by 1 or 2 attacks, and then you're able to heal it off almost entirely, but when you just get bursted for 900 damage, there's almost nothing that can save you.
This is getting a little bit scary as well. I mean, the level difference is really becoming apparent here between these two mids, Limp and Iceberg. And, we'll see. I mean, in terms of rotation, when do you imagine we're going to see Z-Freak leave the jungle, or is he just going to stick there until he does have that full mech done?
I honestly think you could just go for the farm non-stop if you want to. Like, your team is not pressured whatsoever. I think if his team was losing mid lane, like if Limp hadn't gotten those kills, then you'd probably see Z-Freak say, okay, I should probably come in with the first black hole, which is what AUI used to do to help out his mid laner to make up for the fact that he hadn't been doing too much. Or you rotate to the safe lane, zone out the off laner. I don't think that's really a possibility anymore because there's a Tidehunter there. But because the mid lane is going so well, you put pressure without even being on the map, right? Because everybody from Team Spirit right now, they know there's Enigma in the game. They can check his levels, they can see that he's got absolute free farm. They know that their two supports are getting under-leveled because none of the lanes are winning. And that in itself is putting pressure.
And I guess with complexity's lineup, you talked about how obviously Team Spirit with the Ursa, IO, they're going to be looking for the Roshan. But I guess complexity, their draft, it deals really well with stopping the enemy getting it. And in terms of just kind of dragging the game out with the lone druid. I mean, how does kind of Ursa scale against the LD in the late game?
I think it does okay, just because Fury Swipes is always good against heroes that have high HP. And once he gets a few items, he should be okay. Because you can just jump on him with BKB, and there's not a whole lot the LD can do. If it gets to that point, then he'll most likely have to build a Ghost Scepter at some point on his hero. But then Lone Druid's just... Or not Lone Druids, Ursa's just build Diffusals right after BKBs is usually the build.
So still Ramses, he is just finishing off the
at
Akira
bottom.
here at this moment, and yeah, Ramses talking about the man, 60 HP at the moment, he's got the backup, always want to fly coming through, but the ult indeed, Swindle's trying to go for the kill, Goldblack is there, can they save him? There's still the regen here, helping out Ramses, now he's trying to turn, he's just going to take the kill, get Swindles there off the back of the Primal Split. A nice little bit of work there from Mario. Good job that Always Want to Fly was in the neighborhood to help Ramses turn that one around.
Yeah, if he wasn't there, I think it would have just been a solo offlane kill onto the safe laner. But still, that's a level 6 Brewmaster right now. You're incredibly satisfied with maybe not the farm that he has so far, but the levels. And everybody else from your team is farming. Yeah, the Enigma is a little bit inflated, but that's still pretty absurd.
I was just looking at the first 8 minutes of the game, the fact that complexity are 3-2, they've got an LD at the top of the board, and they have been running this jungler. They've got to be happy with the first, the beginning of this match.
No, I think they're going to be incredibly satisfied, because their mid lane could have gone a lot worse after that first blood, but they kind of just stuck with it, played out the levels.
As your mech now done on to Z-Freak. We'll see if he feels necessary to come into any of the lanes yet, and indeed, as soon as the mech's done, Z-Freak and Hanskin are going to look for a bit of fun around the map, and it looks like mid lane is where they're eyeing up at the moment.
Oh, if Limp could toss him back. They should probably just go the long way, though.
Or would they rather go for Ramses?
They could go for Roshan, too, if they want to... Oh, he's not bringing the Eidolons anymore. Never mind. Oh, this is a really nice rotation.
They catch the Goldblack here at the moment. It's just the Bane.
They're going to take the tower right after that, too. This would be really good.
Ramses actually smoked top looking a bit of his own action, so they'll catch out Goldblack here. The three of them closing in. No hope for the Bane hit. They'll find themselves that kill. It looks like Ramses, obviously, with his smoke, he did head up to the top, but no, he's not going to be able to find anything. Chessie playing it safe, backing away from the lane. So, again, complexity with that clean pick-off, and now they'll be able to get the push on.
That was really disciplined. You notice that Chessie stays in the lane until the smoke pops, and then he immediately runs away, because that signals to Team Spirit, okay, this bear's by himself, and you just don't want to give up a kill for a kill. It's almost never worth it, because you're going to take down that tower. You're probably going to lose your safe lane, but safe lane for safe lane is okay, because you got a kill out of it.
Top lane Chessie doing his best there to hold off the advances of Team Spirit. As most of the guys push down bottom. He's managed to draw a fair bit of attention away from this tier 1, so it will be complexity getting a tower, and they will be able to hold on to the top one for the time being. So again, as the game progresses, complexity are finding the objectives, and Team Spirit just being denied.
Yeah, the fact that they weren't able to get this top tower, I think they needed at least one more hero there for them to be able to do it, but even then, Chessie played that really well, dragging the entire creep wave back. It just made it really difficult for them to get aggressive on him, and that's what you want out of your safe laner, especially when the two supports are showing on the map at all times. Like, that's a lot of information that you're granting to Team Spirit, and you can't really just give them something to play with as a result. So they're going to rotate everybody up here now.
He needs to be so careful.
Yeah. They had to do that the first time around, though. Chessie's most likely dead.
Let's see the setup of the 9. They'll put the Ravage, the cooldown, everything. They want to kill the Lone Druid, and they're going to get it. In fact, Swindles has TP'd in. Yeah, he's got the Mango here, so the Mango progress, but they're going to feed script out. Swindles getting taken down as well. A little bit of an unfortunate play there for complexity. Team Spirit were already in full force to deal with that reaction. They'll take themselves 2 kills. They'll receive a bit of tower damage on the tier 2 bottom, but they'll get the tower top. and 2 very big kills there for the side of Team Spirit.
I think if you're Team Spirit right now,
Oh, here
that
comes
bottom.
the relocate. Oh, Hanskin, look at there where the bounce is. In fact, he's going to play off his side. Oh, the black hole! It catches 3. They look at the turnaround, but they don't have anything else to throw into it. It's beautiful, but it's not going to finish in anything any prettier. And in fact, it might be Z-Freak in trouble as Ramsey's afterlife is now. Limp does come in, gets the avalanche onto the gyro, looking for the toss. He's going to find it. They bring down Ramsey, Z-Freak, and Limp. They're going to look to try and find more. Bottling up Limp. He's got the mana. They'll get the Malefist. In comes Hanskin as well. He's got a Frostblast if he gets close enough, and there he goes. Toss as well. Limp will take it. Double kill for the Tiny. And they turn around. It was a great black hole. Didn't look like the follow-up was there, but Limp, he was already on his way down, Blitz.
No, they just played that so well, complexity. They understand that with the Ravage down and the call down, they're almost always going to take that fight. And this is so much information right now for complexity. What they should do right now is look for fights almost non-stop until the Ravage cooldown comes back. Because look at what they have. They've got the Panda ultimate, so I think you just go immediately for the Roshan. There's almost no chance that Team Spirit can contest this.
Thanks to that fight, Limp. Now with a blink on top of the treads. The Midas, he did get it out to the bear, didn't he?
Yeah,
he's got that running there.
you just bring the Enigma Eidolons over. I think that the Roshan is probably the best objective that you can go for. If you're feeling really lucky, you can go for the mid-tier 1 tower, but I think that's one that Team Spirit will defend till the end.
Some lovely ancients here, though, for Ramses once he gets himself over there. Has he got life steal yet? Not quite. He's picked up the Helm of Iron Will. Smoke here from a couple of the members of Complexity. Looks to be a warding mission. I'll see if it actually ends up in anything else. At the same time, Gold Black and Iceberg smoking up on Team Spirit. They've got their eyes towards the mid lane. It is just Swindles on his own, but he does have the split. They've got the Fiend's Grip, though, if they can get the lead in. Iceberg's ready there to join in as well. Looks like they're actually going to head into the jungle. They want to try and find Chessie. They know he's here. They're going to spot him out straight away with the grip. In they go. Chessie, I tried to stop it there with Savage Roar, but it looks like he didn't quite get the range of Goldback, and they'll get the kill. There, he's not able to take it off. Limp now coming in. Wants to try and clean up. Swindles is there as well. Does still have the split. Pops the stick charge. He's got the mana freeze. Looking towards Iceberg, but Iceberg's going to fight this one off. Ramses trying to keep the IO alive here, but it doesn't matter. The split follows through. They'll lose the IO, and how can they try and get themselves anything more? Afterlife's trying to get in position. He's got a Ravage. He's going to pop it. It's lovely. Hits 3. Gold Black, and now Ramses turning up as well. They can look to try and clean up more. Chasing down Z-Freak. They'll get the Enigma kill, but here comes the ult from Lich. Bouncing around. Look at these bounces. Just double kill for Limp. Limp's still alive amongst all of this, and now they're going to chase this one down. It looks to be a triple kill for this Tiny, and this Tiny is getting out of control. Limp now 5-1-4, 1k gold on top of the Blink Dagger. We saw him on an amazing performance on the Tiny in the group stages. In this game, it could be a repeat of it, Blitz.
Yeah, it's starting to look like it, and I'm not really sure why the Tide decided to go for a drums over getting a mech on his team, just because there's no obvious mech carrier either. Like, if they had a mech right there, I'm almost certain they can win that fight. Like, they blew up Chessie pretty quickly. Things looked okay for them, but like, what a turnaround that could have been for Team Spirit. Instead, they're not going to get anything out of this. Possibly the bear, but their mid-tier 1 was the bigger prize. As
Savage Roar, it's a spell. And it's not always going to be enough to save. He's gone, and they'll toss the bear back to safety there. Limp, thinking about the animals.
Bear extraction mission success.
6-11 at this point. Top 3 net worth on the board, all on the side of Complexity. I want to have a look at the graph. What's the overall difference? 4k at the moment. Nothing too major, but it's certainly something that Complexity built up over the entire time, and Team Spirit yet to really swing this game back around in their favor.
Yeah, and I think coL should fight this. They know that the Ravage is still on cooldown.
Oh, jumping in with a combo onto Afterlife. Tidehunter is down. Limp at the moment with 1-2, doing too much. There's the root onto Always Want to Fly. Ramses is coming in with the cooldown. Wants to try and turn this, but the make spot by Z-Freak. There's a Fiend's Grip onto Limp, but they just can't kill this Tiny. He's too tanky. The black hole just sucking in the bear. Complexity surround Iceberg. They'll take him down as well. Triple kill for Z-Freak on the Enigma. They might even try to look for more. The bear chasing away Ramses. They'll get themselves the space for the tower. But Complexity is just turning up this game.
Yeah, and you're starting to see the power of that 4-position Enigma that was just given that much space to farm non-stop. The mech is really making the difference in the fights, which Team Spirit should be like, wow, that item looks really... I was like, wonder what keeps turning around the fights for them. I'm trying to rationalize, because most of the time there's always a reason for it.
I mean, a lot of people have been buying drums, but I just think you don't think Afterlife should have this game.
Especially not on a hero like Tide, because inherently you're going to be the frontliner for your team. It does really well against a hero like Tiny as well, where mid-combo you can just mech somebody up, it messes up Tiny, he's forced to hard commit, then your Ursa can go for the counter initiation. That sounded weird, but they're immediately going to go for the Roshan, which is the correct play. Yeah, they have to.
And do you think they'll get away with this one, Complexity? Will they head over, or is this the 3-1 here for Team Spirit?
I don't think they're going to get there in time. Like, they'd have to start moving right now. The Ursa does it really quickly. And it looks like they are going to smoke for it. Swindles is pinging, because he knows that they haven't defended the top tier 1.
Nice. Going to be able to get over those two Fury Swipe stacks. Yeah, Roshan's going to go down. The question is if they want to try and fight off the back of it. The Bear's just going to be sent in.
There's Ravage up as well. I don't think, even if they were there in time.
They don't want to do it. Limp's jumped in. He's tossed back the Rock Golem. Afterlife for the front lines. Pots the Ravage. Tickles onto 3. Swindles is there as well.
You got to kill
Gets
Swindles
up the
now.
Captain here. He gets the split off. The bounces are coming out from the Lich. And now, well, Chessie gets Fiend's Grip. Nice pick off on the side there for Team Spirit. They find themselves the first kill of this fight. Afterlife getting low. Z-Freak moving forward the right clicks. Hans King gets tossed in. They'll get the Titan to kill. Iceberg trying to juke it around the tree line here. Still got that Aegis. Goldblack and Ramses are there to try and help. But Iceberg, he's going to go down once. And we'll see if compLexity stick around for a second attempt at the kill. Homing missile on its way out to Z-Freak. And it looks like they might leave it at that. Oh! Iceberg nearly catching out Swindles there, but he was able to blink away in time. They do back themselves up. They take a 1-for-1 after losing Roche. Lone Drift for Tidehunter. Team Spirit will be happy with that. They did lose the Aegis though.
Yeah, but I still think Team Spirit, it's a fight where they didn't get completely owned or anything like that, and they got the extra golden fusion. I sort of think that could have gone even better for them if the Ravage was a little bit more on target, or they had more follow-up damage from it, but it looked like Team Spirit got a little bit split up, and they sort of abandoned ship. I think if they just stick together, take down Chessie as a group, and circle back around, then that's a more successful fight for them, but either way, not awful for them, although I still think compLexity is in complete control. They're not as reliant on the cooldowns. Afterlife getting this ancient stack might make a difference.
I mean, is he intending on finishing this, or is he going to leave it for Ramses to get the gold from?
I think he gets it himself.
Okay.
You can't have your Tide this sacked. Like, a lot of people think Tide is just Ravage, but if your Tide gets a few items, he can mean a lot. And a Blink Dagger would mean so much, because it's a lot better to be able to use Ravage as a counter initiation tool, where you can set people up for like a 5-man Ravage, rather than just starting off the fight with like a 2-man start off. Because you have to walk into it.
I mean, looking at the old brute, Swindles on top of the Blink, what's he going to start thinking about growing towards him?
Aghanims is really good. Vlad's is a really safe option as well, just because they're 5-manning so much.
I know this stack's here. I mean, I'll see if they're able to take a few
if
of
they
them.
can
This
take
is
this.
big. They're taking some of these Ancients away, and well, at the moment, the only person standing there aware of this is Afterlife, and he's going to pay with his life. He sees them taking it. They'll take his life as well. No mercy here from compLexity. As the rest of Team Spirit, they're just going to have to let this one go, and this was one of the things that they were really holding out for, Team Spirit.
I mean, once they took the Ancients, Afterlife's like, there's no point. You're just like, I'm down to die.
Oh, IO. Wicked sick here for the man. Iceberg's going to be allowed to walk off. Nothing to stop that. And more kills, and Limp, really, what's he on now? 7-1-7.
No, he's just gone way too big this game. And the thing is, Team Spirit, they have ways to lock around him, but they need their Ursa to get a BKB so he doesn't just get craggied immediately like he has in 2 of the fights. And he needs something so that Swindles doesn't just launch him into the air every single time he tries to initiate.
There's a primal split waiting for you. The Midnight Pulse is laid down. They've got the control holding him in the middle of the pulse. They'll chase him here. There's going to be a TP reaction coming through from Tide. With the black hole! Oh, and Afterlife, he continues straight into it, bringing back the Ursa. They'll look for Ramses here as well. He's trying to get in with the cooldown. Down with the primal split. We're going to see Swindles get himself out of there. Gets the blink off just in time. And now it's the retreat of Swindles and Hanskin. It looks like they're going to make it. And again, compLexity. Yes, each of these team fights just seem to be going so well. Chessie sending the Baron onto Afterlife. We'll see if they want to reinitiate here. Limp on the sidelines. He's topped up on health, topped up on mana. So they won't dive to tier 2, but 18-7. We're only 19 minutes in. It's full fight, and compLexity just seems to be a little bit better at it.
The weird thing is most teams pick the Enigma just for the mech and the ability to safe push. Midnight Pulse is a really good high ground tool, but it almost feels like coL is like, yeah, we're going to pick this so Z-Freak can keep getting uncancelled black holes off right in front of your tier 2 tower. And I don't think he's had an unsuccessful black hole yet, Owen. Every single time it's led to 1 or 2 engagements that has gone well for his team. This is the perfect way that you want to utilize the black hole. You just want to get these mini pickoffs, and he's done such a great job with it.
9.2k here on this man. He's got about 2k in the bank, at 2.4k on top of his blink now. I mean, what do you go next? You just get the BKB this game, or is there anything else that Z-Freak's going to be thinking about that's going to help this situation?
I think Puppy used to go, what is that item? Crimson Guard pretty
Crimson
often,
Guard.
but I don't think it's that as good. Getting a BKB right now would be pretty big, just because the Bane ultimate has been utilized so frequently on the Brewmaster or onto Chessie. Just getting rid of one of those initiation tools just to stop a BKB Enigma would help quite a bit. It's like drawing attention away from the rest of your cores. And Team Spirit already disables pretty heavily. Like right now it's Ravage or Bust.
Now, you did mention it. We talked about how in the later portions of the game, Ursa can stand up pretty nicely against a lone druid. Do you think our complexity, are they under any kind of pressure to finish this game off by a certain time? Or with this kind of lead, do you think they'll be feeling very comfortable and we can expect them to take the next bit of the game quite safely? Or will we see a lot of pressure being put on?
I think the next 20 minutes is still pretty good for them overall. I don't think they have to worry about this. I think there's going to be some point in the game where things are a little bit weird, but
And indeed, Will's got their battery. We'll sort this out. Don't worry. I'll bring you the analyst. Don't cry.
just repeat the things I said.
Repeat the things that Blitz said. It would be great then if I listened to you. Anyway. So let's see what's going on there from Limp. I believe Limp has now got the completed Aghanims on his way out. Or he's just 100 gold away from it. He's just under 100 gold away from the point booster. So we're going to have an Aghs Blink Tiny on at 22 minutes. And even better than Aghs Blink Tiny, I've got a Blitz.
Nice, nice.
You're back. Welcome back, Will.
What's up, man?
What's up?
This list has a vid booster. I'm not 100% sure why. Rod of Atos would be pretty cool.
Do you know that's the planet?
No. But I'd like it to be. What else can you get? It's not going to be... I think that's about the best item you can get for value. For what you have right there. Like, you're not going to get a heart. That'd be so ambitious. And he's not Febby. He's not going to go for 3 of those.
Just looking at Jesse at the moment, he's going to have that Radiance very shortly online. Just a couple hundred away from the recipe.
I think that's your item timing.
Yeah.
Honestly, Owen, I think you just go for...
Wait for the Radiance and
yeah,
then group up and go.
that's often what you're going to look for as a team. Like that huge definitive power spike. Even if you... this is weird.
He did not want to come out there. Everyone just jumps on him. The Primal Split as well. Iceberg was brought in by Always Want to Fly, but the Black Hole comes out.
Gotta
They
cancel
bring
it.
in the IO. Well, Gorbak's still trying to run, but Limp tosses forward the bear. Double kill for Jesse. Iceberg taken down as well. That was not the relocate gank that Team Spirit were looking for. And again, Z-Freak, he's just waiting there with the Black Hole. It's literally sucking them in every time.
No, Goblak should have had enough time to cancel that. Or at least, I don't think it would have mattered in the long run, but he has to be faster about going for the grip immediately rather than the sleep or anything, because at that point it's just all hands on deck, try to cancel it in whatever way you can. Team Spirit, that was a little bit desperate. I guess they thought that complexity would be farming away from the lone druid and taking like this side of the map, but they're just waiting for the Radiance, like we said. There's no other item that they really need that's going to game break for them. Yeah, you can wait for Z-Freak's BKB, but it's not a necessity by any means, and just because you use the Black Hole right now, it's not going to change too much. Swindle's not really looking for an item. Limp already has the Blink Aghs, so it's entirely on this Radiance. And I like that Complexity did that. They protected their lone druid, made absolute sure that he was going to get the item, and then just go for the immediate fight. But there is still a Ravage up, and you don't really want to fight into that if you
There
can
is,
help it.
and there's also still a Silent Hunter that's very close to his own Blink Dagger. So he is going to get it online. He's only 100 gold away from his Bone Blink. And as you were mentioning earlier, having the Blink initiation from Tide could be kind of what you need just to set up, allow the Gyro to come in with the full combo and connect it onto multiple heroes and potentially turn around and take a fight. If you get someone under the cooldown slow and you've got the Ursa on the front lines as well, chomping away, you can instantly take out one of cole's cores.
Yeah, I think that's the game plan. And that's the great part about Ursa, is that the Fury Swipes always makes it so you have this great equalizer against cores, and he does have the BKB. Unfortunately for them, he just got relocated into a black hole, but provided that doesn't happen, they're still in an okay-ish position. They probably have like one really good fight, and Ramses is kept up in farm. But if they take like one unsuccessful fight, I think the game from there on out, it just becomes way too difficult. Everybody's going to start piling on with items. Even this Lich almost has the Atos completed now.
Talking about Ramses, he himself is 2.4k. Is he
Is
thinking about going straight for the damage now, something like an MKB, or is there anything else you think that the Gyro's kind of opting for this map?
I think Butterfly is really good.
Butterfly?
Yeah, if he's opted to skip the BKB to go, or skip the SNY to go for the BKB, I don't think he'd go back for that route. coL has like no heroes that'll go for an MKB naturally. And by naturally, I mean like as an obvious item choice right after. Maybe the bear at some point, but even then it's a little bit wonky.
It's going to be the money here for Enigma's Black Hole, Z-Freak. We'll have that done. Now compLexity smoked up through the jungle here. Looks like it's going to be hard to find him. They might catch out Afterlife. Afterlife coming into the camp. Swindles wants him. Oh, that reaction. Afterlife straight out. They'll still get the Malefice and the Midnight Pulse. He'll pop his drums. Is it going to be enough to save him? Looks like it will, because the Ravage comes out. They're looking to try and take Swindles. Oh, he gets the Primal Split off. He got it off, and now Afterlife's going to be the first to go. The bounce is coming out from the Lich Ult, but at the front lines, Iceberg with his BKB is fighting them back here. It's a 2 for 2 at the moment. If they can get Limp as well, that's going to be a huge kill for the side of Team Spirit. But the Primal Split still fighting up against DoTa here.
Oh, there's
He's
no more
lost the
enrage.
ult. He's got to run. He's been glimmer caped up. The Avalanche won't be enough to bring him down thanks to the magic resistance. Ramses, he's going to be comboed down by Lim. It's a godlike streak now here for Lim on the Tiny. Chessie continues to try and chase Goblet, but the Nightmare will hold back the bear. And they find themselves something, Team Spirit, but again, they're losing the gyro and they're just not killing Lim, however close they may be getting to it each and every time.
In some weird ways, a lot of times, if you're this far behind, you'll say, okay, a 2 for 2 trade is sort of okay, but you're losing cores, and you can't afford to do that if you're Team Spirit. You need your Gyrocopter to survive. You trade out maybe your Bane +1, and you get an Enigma and a Lich, and you'll say, okay, that's okay, but you just lost your top net worth hero in exchange for 2 supports, and it's not even like compLexity had the ideal fight right there. Like, that was Team Spirit's fight to win, essentially just because they almost popped Swindle Melons at the same time. Things are just getting really rough. And it didn't even look like compLexity had any dust. So that Glimmer Cape was like the most effective thing I've ever seen.
Now we're at the point, of course, where compLexity can head into the Roshan pit. Team Spirit. Let's see if they're going to be in a position to fight it with no Ravage, though. And Ramsey's just only back on the map here with Gyro. It's going to be hard for them to get there.
I almost think they have to take this fight, but I have no idea how.
They've got to go for it.
Yeah.
Could be.
I think if compLexity get this, they'll just go for the high ground immediately after.
God, but the bear, call for Swindles, gets the clap off. Relocate coming through, bring in Ramses in, and he's going to fight for the high ground, but the root straight away. He's going to find them off it, but the black hole from Z3, catching 3 out here. They've popped the BKB on Ramses. I suppose they're just trying to go for Enigma here. Z3's still trying to duke this out. One more swipe will do it, but he can't quite get in range. Iceberg's taken down with the Ramses, and we've got back on the Bane. Afterlife caught out in the tree line. Lips found him out. They'll toss him up. They'll bring him down. Beyond godlike for the Tiny. And it looked like a decent setup. They brought in Ramses. He was there in a great position, but the first hit route, they're at a point now where they just can't bring down compLexity in a few hits with a flat cannon. There's too much armor with the Frost armor. They're going to head back into the Roshan pit, get themselves the Aegis. Maybe Team Spirit have a chance on the high ground defense, but this game is looking harder and harder for them.
In some weird backwards way, I almost think Team Spirit could have, well, they definitely could have won that if they had Ravage and if they didn't get 3-man full duration Black Hole. But
I mean,
yeah, Z-Freak's just outplaying them right now, really hard.
And the great thing is we've seen a lot of other really outstanding Enigma performances in the tournament. Obviously, going off the top of my head, Beer's performance on it, and a Puppy in some of the games where he's been bringing it out with Secret. They've been much more kind of calm games. I think we've seen like 1 or 2 black holes in those games, which have been, no doubt, absolutely amazing. But this game, Z-Freak, I've lost count of how many black holes he's hit.
I think it's
he's
like
there
6.
every time.
Yeah, and none of them have been cancelled before like 2 seconds of duration going off. That's exactly what you want out of it. The weird thing is with this hero, like I said, the black holes are just an added bonus. You're like happy if you get one. If you don't, you're like whatever. You still had the purpose of the hero. You had a really quick mech carrier, somebody that jungles safely and applies pressure. But he's gone above and beyond for his team in this best of 1.
That's crazy stuff. They 5-2-17. I mean, that is a scoreboard that any Enigma would be incredibly proud of. 28-9. What's the overall difference looking like in terms of gold? We're coming up towards the 20,000. It's about 17.5 at the moment, favouring compLexity. Ramses, what did he end up building with the money he was saving? It was the Demon Egg, so he's got a bit of damage, but this was just not enough. And here we go, getting caught out. Olympus Winners are there, and actually position 1 just get bursted down in a matter of seconds.
At that point, what do you do? Like Limp does half your HP or more, then the Brewmaster follows up. You could pop the BKB, but you're going down no matter what. Kind of just cut your losses there. Say that you're going to fight. Your Gyro can buy back, but compLexity, they don't have the black hole. They might want to wait for it. They have the Aegis. That's the only thing that they don't have that they're waiting for right now. Limp is an ideal Aegis carrier just because he takes the tower down really quickly. Now he's got the Manta style completed. I really think the only thing that compLexity have to wait for is this Enigma black hole. And even then, again, just an added bonus to their push.
I wouldn't be surprised with the way that this game's going if we see it come to the end and Tiny doesn't die again. The way that Limp's been playing.
Yeah.
Just 1 death at the moment in this game.
It's a toss-up between who is playing the best right now for complexity for me. Limp or Z-Freak.
Here we go. compLexity. Still, what, 15 seconds on the black hole.
They don't have Glyph though. Like Team Spirit have to make the decision right now. You've already used the buyback though on Ramsey, so this fight has to be absolutely perfect.
Now, 5 seconds till black hole. You're going to be fighting into that as well. Limp straight in, and there's your Ursa gone. Afterlife coming back with a nice Ravage. Now
Watch out
Ramsey
for the
is
hole.
the demon edge enough. They're trying to fight here. They're pushing them back. Afterlife's got a Z-Freak with the BKB, trying to get himself in position, but Team Spirit, it's a nice delta split. They'll get themselves in a good position where Z-Freak can't find that opening. Iceberg coming back through. They'll take down the bear. Okay, they avoid the black hole there from Z-Freak. BKB now down on the Enigma. But they're just coming. They're still getting the structures. Medirak's very close to falling here in the mid. And compLexity still very much ready to fight. The question is Spirit going to be ready for round 2? Because we saw in round 1, the Ravage pretty much held off compLexity. And they are holding, but they're just not killing them.
They also had to commit the buyback of both their cores. Like the Gyro had to buy back for that. The Ursa buys back a little bit later after getting almost immediately bursted. You're seeing the strength of the Tiny in games like this, even independent of the Wisp, just being able to force out like immediate responses. You kill the Ursa before you can get the Enrage off. Then what do you really do?
Ooh, Iceberg.
Team Spirit are looking for the fight right now because they know that if they just stay in their base and try to hold high ground, the game is probably over. Like compLexity can slow siege forever. All it takes is one mistake. So Team Spirit, I like this. They're saying we're not just going to lose by waiting in our base. We're going to kind of take things into our own hands and see where things go.
It's certainly going to be hard to do so. I see them being able to hold their own in the fight. They can at least get the tier 1 here on the bottom. That's what they've got their eyes on at the moment. It's fairly low. compLexity sitting with a nice amount of gold on some of these heroes. 3.4k here for Z-Freak on top of his BKB. Limp's got 2k. You got the Brew with 2.5. I mean, they've got cash to spend. They've got cash to burn. They're feeling very comfortable.
I think you can just save for buybacks, and your win condition is almost like impossible for Team Spirit to overcome. 25,000 net worth, and you could argue that compLexity have the better like 45-minute draft. So you're feeling incredibly comfortable if you're compLexity right now. They're gonna go for a smoke though. Any core pick off right now, Owen, means the game.
Afterlife.
Oh, he doesn't even have buyback on Afterlife. He can't afford to die either.
They need to have his Ravage here for the high ground defense. If Limp get the blink off, it's going to be up in the second. They'll put the drums. He wants to find the catch, and he will. He jumps it onto the Tide, and there's your toss down as well. With the bear there, more than enough to take down your Tide, and he's gone for a full minute. No buyback. So Team Spirit are going to have to defend here without the Ravage. And we saw last time how key the Ravage was for them to just hold on to half their racks for the time being.
I think Team Spirit just have to sacrifice this racks. Because you don't want to fight without seeing what your full 5-on-5 potential is like. And without the Tide available and both your cores not having buyback, you can't afford to get caught out like this.
Rain off the goal black. Always want to fly, coming in to try and save. Ramses spots the BKB, trying to damage out, but 2 are dead. The black hole from Z-Freak dragging Ramses in. He's in a lot of trouble. Iceberg's in even more as the bashes from the bear come out. GG is caught. It's all too much for Team Spirit and compLexity. And a matchup that I don't think any of the analysts thought it would be this one-sided. 35-9. What a performance. And as you said, there's a lot of standouts, but Z-Freak's Enigma, I really think that was the key here.
It's like a toss-up. A lot of people will see the core stats and they'll say, okay, Limp carried them. And he did really well. But Z-Freak did everything you expect out of him